Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Technical Forum of the Hydrogen Fuel Cells and Batteries Group Exhibit 2018. Our next presentation is on the breakthrough innovation in water alkaline electrolysis and use in large 2100 MW platforms. For those of you who are standing, I invite you to take a seat, enjoy a coffee, juice, or water while we listen to our next presentation. We have something really special coming up for you. We actually have two presenters. We have Mr. Thijs de Groot, who's an innovation technologist from AkzoNobel. And we also have Bertrand Amelot, who is the EVP Sales and Marketing from McPhy Energy. So I hope you guys will join me while we give them a warm welcome and listen to the presentation from the both of them.
Okay.
So good afternoon, everybody. I see some faces that were already attending the technical forum yesterday. So we are going deeper now in a real life and combination of energy transition and the use of new technology. First of all, I would like to thank a few people, some partners who came from very far, from China. Some are German, some are French, and of course some are from Holland. So thank you, first of all, to our partner AkzoNobel, who will share their experience and their vision of technology. We will speak about some kind of revolution linked to energy transition through the world of coming green electricity, electrification to industry, and revolution from technology, which will start at very small level, where we'll speak a bit of electrochemistry to big platform. I will not go too much into detail on the technology because the presentation should have been done by my colleague, CEO Michael Venske from Germany. He could not, due to operational reasons, be there. I am sales and marketing, so if you have very precise technical answer, I will try to answer, and otherwise we'll find an after-sales service with Michael. So the goal will be to present this a two-step presentation. Sorry. A large industrial company, AkzoNobel, for energy transition and the vision of a technological provider for bringing large-scale platform to bring competitive products on the market. So I will let Thijs de Groot make the presentation on Akzo side, and then I will take the relay. Thank you again, Thijs.
Thank you. Thank you, Bertrand. First of all, I would like to mention, you might wonder why is AkzoNobel presenting here together with McPhy. We are not an exclusive partner of McPhy. We also work together with other suppliers. Our goal is to come to a cost-efficient, reliable, green hydrogen production. That is our goal. And we do believe that the technology offered by McPhy is very interesting. That's why I'm standing here. AkzoNobel Specialty Chemicals is a company that has a large experience in electrolysis. In total, we have about 1 gigawatt of electrolyzer capacity installed in the world. Most of this is chloralkali and sodium chlorate production capacity, but we also currently run the largest water electrolysis plant in Europe of 10 megawatt, which is, well, a rather small electrolysis facility if you compare it to the other facilities. Recently, we announced together with GasUnie, another Dutch company which is working on, which owns gas infrastructure in the Netherlands, that we want to build a 20 megawatt electrolyzer facility in the north of the Netherlands, which is strategically located since there is a lot of offshore wind energy that will come on land. There is the power cable from Norway, the power cable from Denmark, solar farms are in that region, there's hydrogen demand, there's gas infrastructure which we can use to move towards hydrogen infrastructure, since as the Netherlands has decided to move away from natural gas production in that area. So there's a lot of infrastructure we can potentially use for hydrogen. In the end, we as a company, we want to be a partner in that hydrogen process. We think we are very good at operating electrolyzers. We do that already, and we want to also operate these hydrogen electrolyzers. And this is the vision we have for 2050. And actually, our current project is here in the north of the Netherlands, where we want to build this 20 megawatt facility. The Netherlands has the nice thing that we have the North Sea next door. The North Sea is very shallow and therefore very suitable for offshore wind energy. Recently, the first offshore wind park has been awarded without any subsidy. So the offshore wind industry is really gearing up. And also TenneT, Dutch grid operator, has said we cannot do this with normal electricity cables, because the numbers for the wind energy coming on land will be in the order of 50 to 100 gigawatts of power. And that's just the grid operators that we cannot build cables for that, maybe in the sea, but on land in a densely populated country like the Netherlands, that's just next to impossible. And then, therefore, even they have said we need to move towards conversion, to move towards electrolysis, because then we can also use the existing gas infrastructure that will, by that time, be obsolete. As a company, over the past 1.5 years, we have assessed a lot of different water electrolysis technologies. Atmospheric acid alkaline, pressurized alkaline, and also PEM. Well, PEM, you also have the version atmospheric and pressurized. In every category, we have at least spoken to 3 suppliers. And based on that, we have made an assessment on what, in our view, is the most attractive technology for water electrolysis. And actually, what we found out differed a bit from what you see in the normal reports on water electrolysis. First of all, the capital costs are typically already significantly lower, but sometimes it's argued that atmospheric alkaline electrolysis is cheaper than pressurized electrolysis, but from the quotes we got from the suppliers, we did not see that, especially if you start taking into account the costs of the compression that are significant, especially installed compressor. Secondly, the plant efficiency. Also, in that sense, we were a bit disappointed by PEM electrolysis, which is the promising technology brought by many suppliers. But if we compare the PEM efficiencies given by different suppliers, they were clearly worse than both atmospheric alkaline and pressurized alkaline. PEM often argues that their flexibility is better. What we learned was that basically flexibility is mostly an issue of transformers and rectifiers. If you have the right transformers and rectifiers, then you can be very flexible. Okay, that does not completely apply to atmospheric alkaline because of gas volumes, but for pressurized alkaline, you can have flexibility in the order of 10 to 30 seconds, which is sufficient to do grid services. So there's no real difference there. Only minor issue for pressurized technologies is that the gas purity is a bit lower because at higher pressure you just have more impurities going, hydrogen or oxygen going through the separator. Regarding footprint, we also see that PEM in principle can be very small, but at the moment for us this is not really an important criteria. Actually, the most important criteria for us, because we want to build this 1 gigawatt scale type of electrolyzers to absorb all this wind energy in the future, is the development potential. Where is further cost reduction possible? And surprisingly enough, when talking to PEM suppliers, they only mentioned, well, we will have a lot of supply chain improvements, but they did not really mention major step changes in, for example, current density or membrane. And this is actually what we liked a lot about McPhy, and that's why I'm standing here. Is there we see that with the alkaline technology, there is still the room to make a significant step in current density. And a higher current density just means that you can produce more hydrogen with one electrolyte. So that really enables you to make a significant step in reducing the capital costs of the electrolyzers, and this is what in the end we need to come to affordable green hydrogen. And this is where I would like to give the floor to Bertrand to explain more about that new platform by McPhy.
Well, thank you, Tess. I think it's quite unique and very interesting to see that large industrial companies like AXO are really changing their scheme. Yes, it's the chrono. I'm just checking that we are still on track on the counter. That they made this strategic move to decarbonize their industry for the 2030 goal, where I believe they want to hit minus 50% of carbon emission, and where green hydrogen plays a major role. And of course, to do that, you need very competitive solution to have green hydrogen hitting the grid parity with SMR. And I believe the job that has done the team from AXO with their strong knowledge on chloralkaline has been to benchmark the technology and which are give the most promising potential to be at 2.5 euro per kilo, competing with traditional carbon production hydrogen. We did the same kind of evaluation on McPhy side. In the last 5 years, as you know, we have more than 13.5 megawatts reference, and it's been a use for us to leverage this experience to make also our own pragmatic technological choice. What I mean with that is that we started with technology with the former McPhy and Otrec team at atmospheric. Then we moved to alkaline at 30 bar, and we also benchmark on some project with PEM. And when we made all with reviews, the benchmark and the learnings we've got is that alkaline is the most robust and still has room for improvement, and that's very important. The second is that 30 bar is a must. When you use a 4G phone, you don't want to come back to 3G. You want to get more data, and it's the same for industry. You save energy using a 30 bar technology. The switch from SMR to water electrolysis is easy. You have the same distribution network. The third is efficiency. Efficiency is key for OPEX, and the value for alkaline pressurized have one of the best of the market. Then, as Tess mentioned, flexibility. You need to be eligible on primary or secondary reserve, and when you combine your electrolysis with good transformer rectifier, you can do it with alkaline. And finally, modularity. How to increase and scale up the modules is also something important. Based on these learnings, we started a project 3 years ago to develop this new technology that we call, augmented technology. So what does it mean? We are delivering currently a current generation for several projects, including a big project in China, a 10 megawatt platform. And you see this 10 megawatt platform currently has 1,000 square meters of footprint, and it's based off modules of 2 megawatts. Each module has 4 stacks. The work that we have been done since more than 2 years with a key partner called De Nora has been to optimize electrochemistry from electrodes to interface with what we call the electrode package, so the very core and the heart of the stack of the electrolyzer. We call it zero gap technology with doubling current density. I will go further into details. The output of that is that now, with the same balance of plant of 4 modules, we reach 4 megawatts instead of 2 megawatts. So with the same footprint, we double the capacity of the plant, and we reach 20 megawatts. And we call it augmented electrolyzer technology because we augmented the current density, we augmented the production as well, and we maintained the same efficiency. This 20 megawatt platform, we will see later, is a cluster, so we can use it for bigger units like 100 megawatts, and they can work on redundancy as very efficient units in parallel. This technology has the following specification. Of course, you are free to make question and answer or see it in our booth to have more details. But to make it brief, the key specifications are the following ones. So pressure, 30 bar. The footprint, roughly 40 to 44 square meters for 1 megawatt install. BOP, balance of plant optimization, one separator unit for 4 megawatt, and all auxiliaries from drying unit, demi-water plant, cooling unit are shared with a 20 megawatt platform. The purity, of course, dew point minus 70. It depends on the needs of the customer. And last and least, for flexible use, we have a cosinosphere of 0.9, so we can bring service to the network from 0 to 100% load. And we are eligible to flexible markets because we can go from 0 to 100% in less than 30 seconds. So last and least, we doubled the current density. We used to work at 4,500 amps per square meter, and now we will work at 9,000, maintaining the same efficiency, which was the key target and the development since the last 2 years. And that's the joint development partnership that we did with De Nora. De Nora, a lot of people know them. AkzoNobel knows them very well. It's a world leader in electrochemistry. And we adapted the chloralkaline technology electrode with this work since the last 2 years on water electrolysis. And that brings us the big advantage. What I mean in terms of advantage is having CapEx and OpEx optimized. OpEx, we can give very flexible load. And CapEx, we will have €1 per kilowatt, which is close to 500 euro per kilowatt for 100 megawatt platform. So we can deliver hydrogen around €2 per kilo with this kind of platform. And I think it opens very competitive door for new markets for industrial usage. It could be chemicals, methanol, or it could be mobility. Now, and it will be my conclusion. How can we serve the market? It's good to have an innovation. It's good to have an integrated platform that can totally be integrated in the industrial process, meaning the footprint is light, the interconnection will be easy. We manufacture the stack internally in our assets in a plant close to Florence in Italy, so we can control the quality. The installation will be limited to interconnection, so the job site will be limited. And all that, as we said, will be with less than 1,000 square meters. Now, the discussion we got with big players like Akzo or chemical or refinery plant is, but how will you be able to serve and to scale up the market? Meaning, this is only to open the door, but we have different projects of 100 megawatt, 400 megawatt. So how to deliver this kind now of project? So we initiated, of course, a strategic and industrial plant in the last 2 years. Currently, we have the capacity to serve 50 megawatts per year. It's 2 stacks per week with the current technology with half megawatt. We will be in a capacity by 2022 to serve 400 megawatts per year. And how do we do that? From next year with the new generation, each stack will be 1 megawatt. So 1 megawatt stack, we do 2 stacks per week by 50. We have 100 megawatt capacity from next year on. We will move to 2 shifts from 2020, and then we can still optimize. So we'll be in the next 2 years able to deliver 200 megawatt per year with a very reliable industrial process and supply chain organization. We tested the supply chain for our project in China, Hebei, which is a flagship project with 4 megawatts, which are already delivered, where we tested all the modules. So we separate the stack containerization, the BOP, to ease the installation on-site production, a bit like Vestas. You know Vestas, the Danish company. They have a very strong modularity so that they can transfer very big megawatt platform, and then installation will be very fast. That's the kind of philosophy we have used also within McPhy. And of course, we have different supply agreements to make sure we have secured the volumes. So we are ready to scale up. And what we discuss, of course, with Akzo is the lead time is important. It's not only to have a plan, but to deliver and start the plant very quick. So we can deliver and start the commissioning of a plant of 20 megawatts in less than 24 months. And we can deliver and start a plant of 100 megawatts in less than 36 months, which leaves the time to make permitting business case and be ready for the growth. So the industrial plant is ready. And of course, there is a big market, so we thank EXO. We know we are not exclusive. They know that they are not exclusive. The market, we are working with a lot of other companies, but we believe cooperation and trust is very important, and we are very glad and honored that EXO brings us the trust, and we commit to deliver. And it's very good to have a joint company, large company with strong experience with EXO, knowing the value of innovation, because that's really the DNA of McPhee. And I believe Pascal will tell more on the public forum about foregoing technology and innovation later on. So, in other words, we are ready to scale up. I believe EXO has a very ambitious plan. So, thank you very much for your attention. I don't know, Tess, if you want to say a few words as a conclusion. And then I believe we will be on time for question and answer.
No, I think we are ready for question. Indeed, we have a very ambitious plan with regard to green hydrogen. The 20 megawatt is really only a demo for us, a small-scale plant. Normally, we don't build 20 megawatt plants. It's really about 100, 500, 1 gigawatt plants. That's what we are looking for.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Great. Thank you, Mr. De Grue and Mr. Amelot. At this point, if there are any questions in the audience, I could bring the microphone down so that we can all hear. And if people are still thinking on them, I know McPhee is located at booth C70, so you'll be available for questions throughout the week if anyone wants to.
27.
Oh, C27. Oh, my mistake. So
No, sorry, you're right.
No,
There's
yes.
70. You were right.
C70. Okay, it really is C70. And Mr. De Grue, will you be around as well?
I will be around at the fair, but not specifically at a certain booth.
Okay, perfect. So if you are interested in having further discussion, all right, I'll be right over.
Thank you for the presentation. My name is Demosthenes Rizos. You mentioned 20 megawatt in footprint of 900 square meters, with or without purification system?
With all auxiliaries, so purification, demi-water plants, and cooling.
All together?
All together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you both so much for your time, and thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Tess.
Yeah, thank you
very much. Thank you. Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to invite all of you who are here to remain seated and enjoy a beverage. While we start our next presentation, we'll be listening to Dr. Topler, and he'll be up in just a moment. Stay tuned.